Hello, you beautiful people. Aaron here, back with another video. As we all know, oof. So what can make her better? Surely a new artifact set will do her wonders, right? Well, let's talk about the new Dewflower's Glow set and the other Nymph's Dream set too. We'll go over who can wield these sets and how much better they are over other sets available. But before we hop into it, I just want to say that if you like my content, take a bite out of that confetti flavored subscribe button. Onto the meat of the video, let's talk about what this new Dehya artifact set does. The Dewflower's Glow set increases HP by 20% in the 2-piece. This type of set bonus is incredibly valuable for a certain array of characters. This would include Barbara, Bennett, Candace, Diona, Dory, Hu Tao, Kokomi, Huki, Layla, Mika, Nilou, Toma, Yao Yao, Yulan, and Zhongli. But most want a 4-piece set bonus to go along with it. However, they generally have better 4-piece sets to go for, so the question becomes, can this set's 4-piece contend with the others? Well, let's see. But first, I want to mention that I translated this set since HYYYYYY likes to write in the most confusing way possible for no discernible reason. The 4-piece set grants a 10% elemental skill and elemental burst damage bonus. When the character equipped with this set takes damage, they gain a stack for 8 seconds. Each stack increases elemental skill and elemental burst damage by an additional 8%. Each stack's duration is counted independently, and stacks can be gained even when the character equipped with this set is not on field. So not only does a character need to have their primary scaling be HP percent, but they also need to deal damage primarily through their elemental skill and burst, while also having a consistent way for them to take damage. In the end, this effect only allows driver Yao Yao in Nilou teams, driver Nilou, and Dehya to function with the 4-piece. However, since Yao Yao has much more important artifacts to run, and since Nilou offers more to her team when not on field, this leads to Dehya being the only actual utilizer of the 4-piece effect. However, there's already an issue with Dehya using this set, as she barely scales with HP percent despite what HYYYYY wants you to believe. So if you do farm for this set, you have to go for a 4-piece effect for your Dehya. But how good is this set? Well, let's test using her current best in slot artifact set as a main DPS, the Emblem of Severed Fates set. The first test I made was at about 230% energy recharge for both sets. Since Emblem is able to get to 230% easier than Dewflower, it was also able to fit in some more damaging substats. In this test, the new set only deals about 98.1% of the total damage that Emblem would allow Dehya to deal. However, with high energy generating weapons like Favonius Greatsword and Katsuragi Hiri Nagamasa, her total damage increased by about 11% when switching over. Now, this is quite an insane spike in damage output, but why? Well, it's mainly just because with these two weapons, she can afford to use any assortment of substats she wants, since they battery her so effectively. So that led to the question of, what if we lower her energy requirement? Well, I tested her again, this time at 180% energy recharge, which she can easily reach with a bunch of Favonius weapons. In this test, I found that this did impact her damage output with her new artifact set, as it now stood out to be a whopping 1% better than Emblem. Oh, well, that was disappointing, but it does make a difference, as it tells us that the less energy recharge she has, the better her signature artifact set becomes. The middle line for this energy recharge difference seems to be at about 200%, so if you have more than 200% energy recharge, then use Emblem. But if you could get away with less than 200%, then utilize her new artifact set. The infographic on screen is not 100% correct, but it is pretty close, and it does display close to accurate percentages for what you can expect. All around, this new artifact set seems like nothing but a situational side grade that could use some major buffs. Despite Dehya being the only user of the 4-piece set, the second installment of an HP percent 2-piece is incredibly important, since as stated before, a lot of characters scale directly with HP. While this is important for most HP scalers, it is much more important for the likes of Nilou, who not only gets better personal damage numbers from HP, but also increases the damage of her entire team's bountiful cores. So with another HP 2-piece set added to the game, will Nilou teams get a major buff to their damage? To test this, I will compare Gilded Dreams and the Falafel set with the new option of a double 2-piece. I will also be using a base 650 Elemental Mastery Nahida's bountiful core damage for team damage comparison's sake. Keep in mind that with a massive amount of elemental mastery buffs that come with Nilou teams, Nahida's EM stat sits at 1038 while on field and 830 while off field instead of 650. Here are the initial numbers involved in the bountiful core damage on Nilou with both sets and Nahida's bountiful core damage on field. Using this as our baseline, let's introduce the double 2-piece into the equation and see which is better. For Nilou's personal damage output, the double 2-piece is the worst that these sets have to offer, as with it she deals 93% of the damage she would have with the other sets. However, if we take a look at Nahida, she is dealing about 5.9% on field to 6.4% more damage off field with the double 2-piece. This means that while Nilou herself has less bountiful core damage, the entire team's bountiful core damage will increase by about 3%. Strange how an artifact set meant for a specific character ended up buffing another character more than the character was originally supposed to. Speaking of artifact sets that buff other characters more than its intended target, it's time to talk about Nymph's Dream. Nymph's Dream increases hydro damage by 15% in the 2-piece. This is great as it can be farmed for Ayato, Mona, Tartaglia, Xingqiu, and Yolan, just like its sister set, Heart of Depth. However, farming for its sister set and this set seems rather pointless due to the 4-piece of this set. The 4-piece grants a stack for 8 seconds upon dealing damage with normal charge and plunging attacks from elemental skills and elemental burst. Each type of damage counts as its own stack and its duration is counted independently. While 1, 2, 3 or more stacks are in effect, attack is increased by 7%, 16%, and 25%, and hydro damage is increased by 4%, 9%, and 15% respectively. See how you can write increasing the 2-piece effect normally here, but not before? Weird. Anyways, taking a look at this set, we can already see some major overlap and power creep compared to the Heart of Depth set. While the Nymph's Dream does not heavily lean into normal and charge attacks like Heart of Depth does, it does provide more stats all throughout a character's kit. Heart of Depth simply provides a 45% damage bonus to normal and charged attacks, plus a 15% damage bonus to the rest of a Hydro character's kit. On the other hand, Nymph's Dream provides 30% damage bonus and 25% attack to normal and charged attacks, plus the rest of the Hydro character's kit. While this is less damage bonus on normal and charged attacks, we can already tell that the attack percent is there to make up for some of this damage loss. On top of this set is also mega buffing the rest of the Hydro character's kit due to the extra percent damage and attack. This 4-piece is incredible for on-field characters who can benefit from the Hydro damage bonus and attack percent effects. This set would be fantastic for a driver Xingqiu with a sacrificial sword, but since his burst doesn't snapshot, it will fall off, especially when compared to Emblem. The same can be said for Mona, except she also has a noblesse to help her and her team out, which will do about the same thing. Yolan, on the other hand, so we have Ayato and Tartaglia. Who benefits more? Let's find out. We'll start with the original Hydro DPS, Tartaglia. Now, if you're concerned at all about Tartaglia proccing the set over Heart of Depth, don't be. The difference between proccing the Heart of Depth set and Nymph's Dream set is going to be from this to this. A simple charged attack procs so much of Tartaglia's kit that it instantly gets him to 3 stacks. This set also happens to mirror his signature weapon somewhat, so if you have that weapon, you already know how to proc these bonuses on Tartaglia with ease. Onto the set damages, where I placed Tartaglia in an international team comp. On screen now are his damage numbers for these sets with some of his best weapons. As you can see, there's not a major difference. In total, his normal attack damage went up by 1.5%, his charge attack damage went up by 1.1%, and his elemental skill and elemental burst damage went up by 3%. His total damage output across all weapons increased by only about 2.4%, which is not much. However, there is an outlier with one of his weapons, that being his signature weapon. While all other weapons gained a similar damage increase of about 1.2%, his signature gained a whopping 8.7% damage increase. Why is that though? Well, it's simply because Tartaglia's damage is split pretty evenly between normal and charge attacks along with elemental skills and burst. While most other weapons on this list deal with normal attacks, the Polar Star incentivizes a lot of burst damage, which this new artifact also capitalizes off of. So while this bow got a major increase in damage when going from Heart of Depth to Nymph's Dream, so will other bows that impact skill and burst damage, like Moen's Moon and Stringless. However, the weapons that got the least of an upgrade from his artifact set are the more free-to-play weapons, both getting an increase below 1%. So while this weapon is a major damage up for a good amount of players, those who don't have the best setups won't see that much benefit benefit in farming for this brand new set. However, if you have the other Hydro Daddy, it is definitely in your best interest to farm the new set. Should I have placed a spoiler alert here? Whatever. Ayato is a champ and a half, as he could deal a crap ton of damage very easily. He's the best main DPS Hydro character with a lot of versatility and a huge damage ceiling. As stated before, he can utilize this set's passive. It's just going to feel weird. Ayato does not have easy access to this set's bonuses, which sucks, especially for his burst witch snapshots. Since stacks for the artifact can only last for 8 seconds, this means that Ayato also can't utilize the stacks he has for the next rotation. This leaves him in a very awkward spot where his burst will have trouble snapshotting the max buff that this set grants. While there is no reliable way to always have his burst at max stacks, there are ways to get it close, as well as grant Ayato consistent max stacks for the entire duration of his skill. So we're going to test 4 different states on Ayato. One with Heart of Depth, one without doing anything for his burst and normally playing with the new Nymph stream, one also with Nymph stream but when normal attacking before casting his burst and before using his skill, and the final one also with Nymph stream is when charged attacking before his burst and skill. With the numbers on screen now, we can see that both sets are generally rather even. The main difference is when Ayato is able to snapshot buffs to his burst. That's the only time when this set is ahead of Heart of Depth in all categories. Even if a charged attack is not performed before using his skill for the max stacks, Nymph's Dream will still be the superior pick as long as 2 or more stacks are available for Ayato to snapshot on his burst. However, if charged attacking turns you off from playing Ayato, or if it ends up ruining certain rotations, then don't farm for this set. It's just a downgrade in that case. Despite the artifacts here being pretty mediocre, the domain they reside in is not too bad. While only 3 characters can really benefit from the 4-piece sets, a multitude of other characters can utilize the 2-piece bonuses pretty well. However, only one of these characters will actually want to farm here, as the rest have better, more valuable options for them to use. So with the fact that these sets have very few characters that benefit from them, plus the fact that the characters that use these sets do not get major damage bonuses from them except in some situations, I would never recommend this domain for someone to farm, especially someone new to the game. At least not yet, as Fontaine is just around the corner and we might see some characters there who want to use what this domain provides. At the current moment, this domain is as valuable as the Echoes and Vermilion domain. But that's all I have for this video. Before I go though, I want to know if you plan on farming the domain, and also what's your reason. I'm doing so because I sim for Tartag, so tell me if you plan to farm this set in the comments down below. In any case, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye bye!